Imagine building a city out of nothing. Hauling marble from Italy, steel from South Korea, glass from Germany, and labor, millions of human beings from South Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Africa. Imagine pouring 2 decades and hundreds of billions of dollars into constructing the single most photographed skyline on the planet. Imagine doing all of that and then watching it begin to crack. Not from the outside, not from a war or a natural disaster, but from within. From the very foundation you built it on. That is what is happening to Dubai right now. And the people paying the highest price are not the billionaires who bought penthouses in the sky. They are not the influencers who flew in for content. They are not the hedge fund managers who parked their money in tax-free accounts along the Gulf. The people paying the highest price are the ones who were never allowed to leave in the first place. This is not a travel story. This is not a real estate analysis. What you are about to hear is something much darker, an economic thriller set inside one of the wealthiest cities ever constructed. Where a system designed to look like paradise has quietly become a prison. Where a tourism collapse is not just causing financial damage, but human damage. Where millions of migrant workers are caught inside a machine that is slowing down, and the exits, by design, are not open to them. Stay with me, because this story goes places most people are too afraid to follow. To understand what is collapsing, you first need to understand what was built, and why it was built the way it was. Dubai in the 1960s was a pearl diving settlement on a creek. A small port town. A place where Bedouin traders and fishermen lived in wind tower houses and bartered goods in open-air souks. When oil was discovered in 1966, everything changed. But Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum, Dubai's ruler at the time, unders. Most oil-rich leaders refused to accept, the oil would not last forever. So while neighboring states were simply spending, Dubai began architecting a future that did not depend on petroleum. That future had one name, tourism. But not ordinary tourism. Not the kind that develops organically over centuries, rooted in culture and history. Dubai decided to manufacture tourism from scratch, artificially, aggressively, on a timeline no city in human history had ever attempted. The vision was to become not just a destination, but the destination, the crossroads between East and West. The Burj Al Arab opened in 1999. 7 stars. The world's first self-described ultra-luxury hotel. Built on an artificial island shaped like a sail and priced at rates that made international headlines. It was not just a hotel. It was a declaration. Dubai was saying to the world, we have arrived. Come and see. The Palm Jumeirah followed, an artificial archipelago visible from space, carved out of the Arabian Gulf in the shape of a palm tree. Sold as the 8th wonder of the modern age. Then the Burj Khalifa, 828 meters of steel and glass, the tallest building on Earth. Then Dubai Mall, the largest shopping center in the world. Then the Museum of the Future. A building so visually striking that simply standing near it became a social media moment. Every one of these projects had one purpose: to make Dubai impossible to ignore. To make you feel that if you had not been to Dubai, you had not truly seen the world. And for a while, a long, spectacular while, it worked. By 2019, Dubai welcomed over 16 million international tourists in a single year. Tourism revenue exceeded $36 billion. The city had more 5-star hotels than any other place on Earth. Dubai International Airport became the busiest international airport in the world. Flights arrived daily from every corner of the planet. The fantasy was immaculate. And beneath it, hidden from almost every tourist, was an entire civilization of people who made it all possible. Let's talk about the workers. When you land in Dubai, check into your hotel, and order room service, you are almost certainly being served by someone from somewhere else. Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, the Philippines, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Ethiopia, Kenya, Egypt. These workers build the buildings, operate the elevators, clean the rooms, and staff the hospitals. Without them, Dubai is a desert. Migrant workers make up more than 88% of the workforce in the UAE. In sectors like construction, that number reaches nearly 99%. And the system governing them is called the kafala system. Kafala means sponsorship. In practice, it means something far more restrictive. A worker's legal right to remain in the country is tied entirely to their employer. Their visa is not independent. It belongs to the company that hired them. If the employer is abusive, fails to pay wages, or breaks promises, the worker cannot easily leave, switch jobs, or even exit the country without permission. This system has underpinned Dubai's entire economic rise. Reforms have been announced in recent years. But human rights organizations say the gap between policy and reality remains significant. Many workers arrive already in debt, having paid thousands of dollars in recruitment fees just to secure a job. They borrow money, sell land, and take high-interest loans. Then they arrive to find lower salaries, longer hours, and poor living conditions. And they cannot simply walk away. They stay. They work. They send money home. And they wait. This is the hidden infrastructure behind Dubai's success. And now that the system is under strain, they are the most exposed. So what is actually happening? Dubai is not collapsing entirely. Its economy is still strong. Its infrastructure is world-class. But its tourism model, the luxury, must-visit global destination, is under real pressure. Costs are high. Competition is rising. Perception is shifting. And the human rights issue is becoming harder to ignore globally. Fixing this is not simple. It would require lowering costs, increasing authenticity, improving labor conditions, and differentiating from competitors, all at the same time. Some of these goals conflict with each other. And for the millions of workers already there, the impact is immediate. Fewer tourists can mean fewer hours, fewer shifts, lower income, and uncertain contracts. Leaving is not always an option. Debt remains. Contracts remain. Permissions are required. For many, they are effectively stuck. This is the human side of the story that glossy travel videos never show. Dubai is not alone in this model. It reflects a broader global system, one that relies on invisible labor without full rights. As long as growth continues, the system functions. When growth slows, the cracks appear. Bringing workers in was easy. Protecting them, or helping them leave, is much harder. The skyline still shines. The buildings still stand. But behind the image, something is changing. Dubai's future is not decided yet. Cities recover. Economies adapt. But real transformation requires more than marketing. It requires confronting the system itself. And the biggest question now is simple. Can Dubai change, not just its image, but its reality? Or will the illusion remain stronger than the truth?